The HOA Karen Girls versus the G-Wagon. It was another peaceful morning in Maplewood Estates, a neighborhood infamous for its rigid HOA regulations. Most residents followed the rules to the letter, too afraid to provoke the self-appointed enforcers, three middle-aged women who had taken upon themselves to protect the community's pristine image. Everyone called them the Karen Girls, a nickname they either ignored or secretly took pride in. For years, their world had been one of neatly trimmed lawns, neutral-color houses, and HOA-approved vehicles. Until he showed up. Dylan, a 32-year-old entrepreneur, had just moved in. Unlike his neighbors, he had no interest in blending into the background. He was young, successful, and had a taste for the finer things in life. His crown jewel? A brand-new, jet-black Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon with matte wheels and unmistakable presence. It wasn't just a car, it was a statement, and the Karen girls despised it. The second he pulled into his driveway, they watched in horror. Lisa, their self-proclaimed leader, gasped as if witnessing a crime. "That is not an HOA-approved vehicle," she shrieked, shoving her oversized sunglasses up her nose. Susan, the dramatic one, clutched her pearls. "It's too aggressive. What if the children see it and think this is, what do they call it, some kind of gangster neighborhood?" Karen, the one who handled all the official complaints, was already on her phone. "We have to put a stop to this. Now." The first complaint. Later that day, Dylan arrived home to find a notice taped to his front door. "Dear resident, your vehicle does not comply with the aesthetics of our community. Please remove it immediately or face fines." Dylan chuckled. "Aesthetics? Seriously?" With a smirk, he crumpled the letter and tossed it into the recycling bin. By the next morning, the G-Wagon was still in its rightful place, gleaming under the sun like a silent act of defiance. And that's when the real battle began. The standoff. Lisa, Susan, and Karen huddled outside, glaring at the SUV as if it had personally insulted them. "We have no choice," Lisa declared. "We call the police." Karen, already dialing, nodded. "Hello? Yes, I'd like to report a suspicious vehicle in our neighborhood. It's big, black, and extremely threatening." Within minutes, a patrol car pulled up. Two officers stepped out, looking around in mild confusion. Dylan, watching from his porch, casually made his way over. "Officers, something wrong?" Karen marched forward, dramatically pointing at the SUV. "This doesn't belong here. It's ruining the harmony of our neighborhood." One of the officers raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, calling 911 over a parked car is an emergency." Lisa scoffed. "But it's disrupting the community." Dylan folded his arms. "Is it illegal?" The officers exchanged glances before shaking their heads. "No, sir, you're in the clear." Then, turning to the trio, one added, "Please don't misuse emergency services for personal grievances." With that, they got back in their cruiser and drove off, leaving the Karen girls fuming. The retaliation. Having failed with the police, the trio resorted to a new tactic. Pure, relentless harassment. Every morning, Dylan woke up to anonymous complaints about noise violations. Despite working from home in complete silence, he found passive-aggressive notes wedged under his windshield wipers. There was even an absurd attempt to have his trash bin cited for placement violations. One evening, as he was washing his car, he noticed Karen standing at the edge of his driveway, arms crossed. "You know," she sneered, "you'd make your life a lot easier if you just got rid of that thing." Dylan grinned. "Funny, I was about to say the same thing about you." She gasped as if he'd slapped her with a cease and desist and stomped off. The final straw. Then came the certified letter. "Dear Mr. Carter, due to multiple complaints from the HOA board, we request that you remove your vehicle or face legal action." Dylan had had enough. He marched straight to the HOA office, a small, stuffy building at the neighborhood's entrance. Inside, Lisa, Susan, and Karen sat behind a desk like a panel of judges, smug and ready for their final verdict. "Dylan," Lisa purred. "We were just about to reach out." "No need," Dylan cut in, slapping a thick folder onto the desk. "I already reached out to someone, my lawyer." Their smiles evaporated. "This," he continued, tapping the folder, is a legal response detailing how your false complaints, harassment, and abuse of HOA power violate the Fair Housing Act and local laws. Karen stammered. You wouldn't dare. Dylan smirked. Oh, I already did. And here's the fun part. Since my car is parked on my private property, your little rules don't apply. Lisa paled. Susan's mouth opened, then shut. As for the constant complaints, he added, if they don't stop, I'll sue the HOA for harassment. Silence. Dylan smiled, picking up the folder. Have a great day. And just like that, the war was over. The aftermath. Though the Karen girls never fully recovered from their loss, they knew better than to challenge Dylan again. They still shot occasional glares at the G-Wagon, but that was all they could do. And as for him, he made sure to park it right in the middle of his driveway, perfectly positioned for them to see. Because some battles are won with words, others with horsepower.